Good morning. Welcome to another vlog. How are you guys? I am in a great mood because yesterday I actually woke up pain-free. I just kind of, got out of bed automatically. It took me a while. It took me a couple minutes and I was like, wait a second, my back doesn't hurt. And if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, I've had this like history, I would say, over the past 3 or 4 years where I keep hurting the same muscle in my lower right back. And I did it again over Mishmas. And it felt okay for a little while there. I started working out again and then it just went out again. And I was like, okay, I really have to give it some rest and relax it and all those things. So I've been going to Pilates when it's just hurt. I was mobile, but it still hurt. I thought, okay, I just really need to kind of like stretch it out, work it out. And we finally found this stretch that just really got it. And it's basically just putting like one bent leg in front of you, one leg out at about like a 45-degree angle, and then kind of sideways leaning into the leg that's sticking out, and then slowly turning to try and reach that foot, which I cannot do, but it's in this motion when you're kind of like sideways and you start to twist, it's like right there. If you guys want to try it, that's the muscle I keep hurting. And it keeps pulling my hip up, it keeps pulling my spine over, it's like contracting that whole area. So I've been using a heating pad at night, which has been so helpful for me, for my particular condition, this really tight kind of muscle, and stretching it out. So definitely something I never really realize while I'm going through it, but when I am in pain or when something's off, sick, you're in pain, something's bothering you, you're stressed out about something, I feel like a lot of things fall to the wayside. And that's exactly when I should be doing some things to kind of make myself feel better, to kind of center myself. But I get, and I'm sure I'm not in the minority here, but I get really kind of just focused on that particular issue. And it's almost like when you're in a bad mood and working out is going to put you in a good mood, but it's just the last thing you want to do. That's sort of how I feel like when I was, experiencing this back pain. There were just so many things that I probably could have done just to make myself either distract me or make myself feel better. But I just was like, my back hurts. Like I was just so focused on the pain, like a kid, like, my back hurts. So anyway, coming out of it, and, having this realization, I'm like, I need to kind of like do the things that I know that make me feel good. So this morning I did a very light workout. I know also to take it easy. I'm one of those idiots that, as soon as I feel good, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to running and doing weights and all of that, and then I hurt myself again. So I did a very light workout, and actually I'm working with my friend, Alicia Archer. She's also known as Kinky Sweat. She has like a kind of it's like a coaching business, and she likes to refer to herself as like a fitness fairy godmother. And so I signed up with her, and she's on this app and she'll send you exercises. Of course, she'll talk to you and have like an intro call and just kind of get a sense of where you are, what your goals are, whatever. And so I did her workout today. A nice kind of like slightly challenging, but nothing, super crazy or whatever. I was using some free weights. I did some mat work. Great, there's like a little bit of stretching, and then she also actually has some stretching sequences for me to do. So I think I'll do them later on, maybe in the afternoon before dinner or like before bed. I actually like the idea of before dinner. So, after like being awake, my body's like a little bit more warmed up, and it's just easier for me to do stretchy things in the afternoon. So I think I'm going to do some of that this afternoon. So it was really nice to wake up and be able to do that. And the next thing I want to do is use my CurrentBody LED mask. This always makes me feel better too. Not that this has any mood enhancing benefits or anything like that, but I really like, taking care of my skin, and I just love this LED mask so much. And as you guys have heard me go on and on about, this mask has done, I think, wonders for my skin. It really improves like fine lines and just overall kind of like general plumpness, I guess collagen production. Sorry, I'm trying to arrange it over my over my hair turban. Okay, I think I have it a little too tight. And I am working with CurrentBody on this video, so I'm just gonna press and hold this battery pack. Again, you guys have seen me use this 1,000 times, but I just love this. I like using this mask. I mean, hey, if you can do it every day, go right ahead. But I'm at the point where I use it probably twice a week. And the cycle is for about 10 minutes. And if I have the time, which usually I make time for it, I will turn it on for 2 cycles. So I'll wear it for 20 minutes. And then I've also got the neck and deck LED mask as well. And I like using this after the shower because my skin is cleansed, but I don't have any other products on yet. So I like doing this with bare skin. I think that is what's recommended because you don't know if there's gonna be any sort of conflict between the LED light and any kind of skincare that you might put on. So I always like using it on bare skin. So after the shower is always great. And then because each of these masks come with its own battery pack, my robe has these pockets here. And I just walk around with the battery packs in the pockets. So I'll usually try and find something to do. I can lay down on my bed right now and meditate, which is what I do sometimes. I will fold laundry, which is a really great thing to do while you have this on, or I'll iron or steam some things. I'll fold up clothing in my dresser. Like, it's a great time to be able to do that sort of thing. So this mask uses red light therapy and it helps with like cell turnover and things. And because I have sensitive skin, I have to be very careful with certain skincare ingredients that do basically the same thing. They kind of like turn over cells and kind of like jumpstart your skin in producing cells and collagen and things like that. And so red LED light, it kind of tricks your skin into thinking it's being damaged, even though it's not. And so that's why it kind of starts this like cell turnover, cell production, collagen production process. And so, yeah, it's just really, really refreshing for your skin. And for me, it's a great alternative because, again, so many of those skincare ingredients on my sensitive skin, sometimes it just doesn't work out. So if you have sensitive skin and you find you can't use a lot of those types of ingredients like retinol, salicylic acid, glycolic acid, things like that, you may want to try this because I find this mask to be a lot less invasive than like an acid, like literally kind of burning away at your skin. So yeah, I think this is a great alternative for sensitive skin who can't handle that because this doesn't bother my skin, yet I see the benefits of that. So I'm a huge, huge fan of these LED masks. This neck and deck is like such a lifesaver because I have those lines on my neck and this has definitely softened them. I'm gonna flash a coupon code up here on the screen. If you're interested in purchasing the face mask or the neck and deck mask, I'll flash a coupon code up here for you that you can use on the CurrentBody site. Of course, I'll list it down below in the description box. I'll also link to it. But yeah, I'm just a really big fan. You do have to use it consistently though. I will say you can't use it once and think it's gonna do anything. So when I first started using LED masks, I want to say I used it every single day for like 14 days, like 2 weeks. And I wasn't sure if I saw any difference. It was, you know, it's like you're too close to it. You're seeing yourself every single day. It's like trying to figure out whether or not you lost weight by just like looking in the mirror. So after about a couple of weeks, I kind of just stopped using it. I put it away. And it was then that I noticed like, oh, like after a couple days, like my skin all of a sudden didn't seem quite as like healthy and quite as like bright and vibrant. And I was like, oh my God, I think it's the mask. So then I started using it again. And after a couple days of just starting again, I was like, there it is. There it is. There, I see the glow. I see the glow. So anyway, I've been a total convert ever since. That was like, gosh, like 4 or 5 years ago I started using an LED mask. But yeah, they're really great. So anyway, I think I will actually fold up some laundry until I finish a couple cycles here and I'll be right back. All right, LED mask cycling is done and I just did my hair. I used this T3 body waver. I've never used this one and it has a 1 3/4 inch barrel, so it's bigger than the biggest barrel I had been using on my T3, is it a twirl, the one that comes with like the attachments. Anyway, the biggest barrel on that one is 1.5. And then I don't know why I never used this. I had it, it was just sitting around and I was like, wait a second, let me use this. So I just put in just a really light, gentle curl because, you know, just testing it out. And I like it. I like it. It's great for longer hair, you know, especially if you just want a little bit of something. A little bit of something. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I think it's called the Body Waver, something like that. Anyway, 1 3/4 inch. And of course that brought me down a rabbit hole. I was like, are there bigger barrels? And I saw, I think a company called Haute. They have a 2-inch barrel. So I'm like, maybe I'll try that one of these days. But yeah, the 1 3/4 I think definitely works a lot better than the 1 1/2. So Courier just stopped by with the rest of my Prada order. I don't know if you guys caught my shop with me. I went to Prada at Crystal's and I got 4 things: the sweater, the skirt, and the shoes, which I showed you. But the shirt that I got, I think I told you, I like looked down and I basically got lipstick on that shirt. So they had to send it out to get cleaned and they just messengered it over. So let's take a look at this shirt. It is something I was planning on wearing underneath that thick cashmere sweater that I got because I'm definitely afraid of being too hot. I don't mind being too cold, but I do not like being too hot. It's just distracting and uncomfortable. So I got this shirt to wear underneath in case I wanted to take the sweater off. I still had like a cute little piece on. Oh, and sorry, there was a note with this package. And they're like, you forgot the slip to the skirt at the store. I don't even think I tried it on with the slip. Oh, wow. How interesting. It is like lace trimmed and it does have the slit. Huh. Yeah, I totally didn't realize that it had a slip. Okay, we will put that on as well. Here is the white shirt that I've been talking about. So just a really crisp poplin shirt. It's got the triangle emblem there. It is a very tidy fit. I wouldn't say it's cropped. Well, if you're taller than me, I would say it's cropped. I'm 5'5". It's not cropped. It like stops right below my waist, short sleeves, and it is, yeah, it is a button-down shirt. There are buttons there, and then there's even a button on the back here. So let's go ahead and try all of this on. Okay, here is this very tidy white button-down shirt with the skirt, sorry, sunlight, with the skirt and the slip is on underneath. I wonder if it's gonna like shift. The skirt is a little bit see-through. It's kind of, it's like a kid mohair, I think wool blend, and yeah, it's like a very thin suiting, but yeah, I'll just, I guess, have to keep an eye on it. But here's that shirt underneath, and I'm thinking if I get too warm, I can always drape the sweater around my shoulders instead of, you know, pulling it all the way over. Or obviously if I get too cold, I can just throw it on top. So anyway, you guys have seen this outfit. I've tried it on for you already. I do love this shirt. I mean, it's so Prada, right? Prada, I feel like, is always so prim looking, and then there's just, you know, there's always like a little something going on that makes it a little bit more modern. So yeah, I just love this shirt. I love this little emblem there. All right, another winner. So this is definitely going to New York with me next week. Oh, and I got my nails done yesterday. I decided to go with a dark gray because I thought it would go nicely with this outfit. This is a Gelegance Tammy Taylor nail color, and the color is Haute Couture. Easy to remember. But it's like just a really dark gray, and I have it on my toes as well. But I love this. It's a nice change from my brown. All right, I am going to get dressed for the day. I'm not gonna wear this, obviously. Probably get it dirty, of course. I have a quick meeting at 11, I think 11 o'clock. And then I'm meeting my mom for lunch at noon. And I think that's all I have planned for today. So I just put on my Everlane super boxy t-shirt over some Everlane jeans. These are like such a perfect fit. They stop right at my ankle. They're tapered at like the right angle, I guess you could say. Yeah, these are just such a great fit. If I can find the actual style name of this, I probably can on the inside, and if they're still available, I will link them down below. I'm trying to figure out what sweater to throw on top because it's kind of chilly out. Oh, maybe I'll wear my new Loewe cardigan. I've been kind of living in this, but I just love it. It's so comfy. It's the perfect oversizedness. It's the perfect weight. Like, it's not too heavy, not too light. And does it look okay over this color? Yeah, I think it looks okay. I'm gonna throw on my Loewe Flow Runners with this outfit. My mom and I are not going anywhere fancy. And I think that's it. That's it for my outfit of the day. I feel like doing a full face of Surratt Beauty today because Surratt Beauty is one of my favorite brands. I don't think it's talked about enough. I don't think I personally use my Surratt Beauty products enough. So that's what we're doing today. I'm gonna start with the Dewdrop Foundation. I have it in shade number 3, and this has ever since I got this, it has consistently been my all-time favorite foundation, and you're about to see why. Some people have told me that they find this dispenser hard to use, but you just have to like turn it upside down. You basically kind of wait until the product reaches the tip, which doesn't take long, and then it has this dispenser button. So you just kind of press in there and then it starts to drip out. It's really, I don't know, I've never had any problem with it. Unless you want to use a ton of this foundation, which I wouldn't recommend. You may have to wait a little bit, but I would say like 4 to 5 drops is good enough. So I'm going to use a foundation brush. I'm going to use my Sonia G Jumbo Base. And, oh god, I'm using the viewfinder again. Let me pull out a mirror. This foundation is so beautiful and perfecting without looking overly makeup-y. It is like a dream. Okay, that's it. 4 to 5 drops, and my skin looks so smooth. I'm not gonna use any concealer. I think I'm actually okay today. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, let's go to the Surratt Artistic blushes, and I have a whole bunch, but the blush line also includes like a contour and a highlight, so that's what we're going to use today. I am going to use this contour here, and I'll list everything down below in the description box because I can never remember all the names. I'm also always mispronouncing them, blah blah blah. So anyway, I'm using this guy as contour, and I'm going to use Sonia G's Face Pro brush, which is just a really large face brush, which is slanted at the top. I'm going to go into the contour palette and just going to, just going to blend that out. It is such the perfect tone for my skin tone. Really beautiful, shadowy kind of tone, but not too gray. It doesn't look too stark. It looks very natural, as you guys can see. All right, contoured out. Next for blush, I mean, look at these gorgeous blushes. I don't have all of the shades either. Some of them have like a soft matte finish. Some of them have a beautiful soft like satin finish. Some of these have like more of a metallic sheen. I'm gonna go for something kind of in between. I'm gonna use this for blush. All of my Surratt brushes are actually out in my other room. Otherwise I'd be using them, but I'm too lazy to get up right now. So I am going to use, let's see, this Chikuhodo brush. This is the cheek highlight brush. I'm gonna go into this shade again. I'll list the shade names down below in the description box. I do have one Surratt face brush here. This is the highlight brush. It has like a pointed tip. I'm gonna go into the highlight shade right here. This is a beautiful, subtle, mature, grown-up kind of highlight. It's not too overly bright. And just gonna dust that. Cheeks there, really soft satin finish. For eyebrows, I do have the Surratt Brow Pomade in, I think this is deep brown. This is a decent product. It's just not my favorite. I like the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel more, but let me demo this for you. It has like a little brush. Just brush the product on. I definitely have to clean off the brush before going into my brows. There's a lot of product on here. But once you get the excess product off, this is really easy to use. I actually really like this brush idea. And this brow pomade is definitely more controlling than the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel. I don't necessarily need like a ton of control. I mean, I probably could use a bit of control for my eyebrows because they are fairly unruly, but I'm okay with like the kind of medium hold that the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel gives. I would say this gives like a medium high level of control to your brows. Nothing crunchy, nothing like a really intense kind of like crispy brow gel, but definitely more than the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel. So we are going to be using the Beyond Beige eyeshadow palette, and Surratt Beauty sent this to me probably last December, and I just haven't gotten a chance to use it. I do have most of the shades in here in my singles, as you guys saw, but I wanted to use this palette because I think it's their bestseller, and for good reason. Look at this palette. Is that not gorgeous? Let me do some swatches for you. Here are the 4 shades. So we have Satin Salmon, then we have Grige, then we have Couvray, and then we have Brun Noir. All right, so I'm gonna start with this shade. I've got my Sonia G Worker One brush. And then next I'm gonna take this shade and just brush it all over my lid. So beautiful, it just blends out effortlessly. All right, next I'm gonna take this Rephr number 2 brush. It's like a smaller shader brush. I'm gonna go into this shade up here, and I'm gonna add it into the inner corner here and blend it in. And then I'm gonna take like a small blender brush, go into that same shade and kind of blend out the top there. Oh my God, I actually just had to jump onto a Zoom call with like 80% of my makeup done. But let's continue. So let's see, I used all 3 of these shades. I'm gonna go in with this deep shade and just line my eyes, you know, get it really into like my lash line. All right, I'm gonna throw on some Chantecaille mascara. I would use the Surratt Noir Lash Tint because I love that mascara, but I don't have any. I don't have any. I used it up probably like a while ago and just, you know, have been going through other mascaras. But anyway, there is the Beyond Beige palette on. Oh, I really, really love it. I love that it's just the slightest bit warm on my lids, just a little. Like it's not, I wouldn't call this like a super warm look, but just a little bit to kind of keep it from looking too gray, like if that's not your thing. I'm gonna throw on some lipstick. Why can't I find anything? Oh, here. This is the Surratt Beauty Lip Slick in Club Sept. Such a beautiful caramel brown, and a little bit of warmth in the eyeshadow works really well with this lipstick that also has like just a little bit of warmth to it. I love it. I cannot get enough of Surratt Beauty makeup. But I'm late meeting my mom for lunch, so let's go. Just cleaning up a little bit after dinner, and I had a lovely lunch with my mom, and I have to show you what she got Miss Butters. So my mom knows how much Butters loves balls. So every time she sees a doggy ball, she picks it up. So this is a monkey, and it's got the little teeth, and it's actually a squeaky. I'm not gonna squeak it right now because I think Butters may get too excited, but let's present this to her.
Hi, baby. Are you too sleepy for a new toy? Do you want to play with a new toy? I know it's a little big.
She's not going too crazy because she just spent the day at school. We just picked her up, so she's actually pretty tame. But usually if I present her with a ball, she'll sit right up and just put it in her mouth, start running around with it, going crazy. But she's just enjoying it on the couch. I did also want to share with you some really beautiful PR gifts that I got today. I just went to the UPS store and I got some Lunar New Year PR presents here. So this one came from Charlotte Tilbury. Isn't this pretty? Now, I don't know if this comes, I think so. I think you can actually probably buy this as a set. I'll link it down below if you're interested, if it's still available, because you'll probably be seeing this after the first day of New Year's. Usually New Year's is celebrated for like a week or so, but actual New Year's was on Sunday. But anyway, this has basically like re-promoted products. I think this lipstick is new. Does it say that? Yeah, it actually says new right on top. So the lipstick shade is new, but the magic cream, the setting powder, and then the setting spray, those are all obviously existing products, but they just put it in this really pretty Lunar New Year packaging, which is so nice. And then for the first time ever, you guys, I got a PR package from Creed. Cannot believe it. So they sent over this beautiful card, basically wishing me a happy Lunar New Year, Year of the Rabbit. God, isn't this so pretty? And then in this gorgeous box, I already opened it because I was really excited. In the gorgeous box, they sent over a beautiful silk scarf with this gorgeous, like, rabbit design. Isn't that, I'm holding it up sideways. Isn't that cool? Isn't that so beautiful? They actually have a few things. She's squeaking the toy now. They actually have a few things for Lunar New Year, and they sent me one, and it could not be more perfect. So it came in this Year of the Rabbit box, and here's the actual box, and there's 3 little sprays of three of my favorite Creed fragrances. So it has Aventus, Silver Mountain Water, and Millissime Imperial. I love it. I have them all in like a larger size. I actually don't know if this is Aventus for her or for him. Doesn't matter. I have for her. My husband has for him. He wears them for him. And I love Creed so much. When I opened up the PR box, I was like, what? So big thank you to Charlotte Tilbury and Creed for these lovely, lovely gifts. Let's actually open up this Charlotte Tilbury because I just want to make sure that they are in fact re-promoted products just with like new packaging. So here's the Charlotte Tilbury box. Yeah, the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, the Airbrush Flawless Powder. Oh, they sent over the shade number 2. Ooh, here's the packaging. Isn't that pretty? Wow. Oh yeah, this is the original powder, because you know how they just came out with like that blurring powder with the white cover? I wasn't sure if maybe that was this, but no, this is their original powder. So they sent over shade medium, and then the magic cream, and then this Matte Revolution lipstick is in the shade Blossom Red, and this is new. Let's do a quick swatch of this, although I feel like this model is probably giving you the best information on that lip color, but let's see. Here is the packaging. Really so pretty. And wow, look at that burnt red. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's very warm toned. Wow, it's beautiful. Thank you so much to Charlotte Tilbury and Creed. This was a really good PR day. I was just sitting down doing sort of like my morning routine. I was writing down gratitudes. This is my big gratitude journal, kind of going over my to-do list, which I had mentioned in my last vlog. This is my Hobonichi Teco Cousin planner, but I use it like just to create to-do lists and things. And then I have my notebook here. I have a lot of notebooks and a lot of paper here. But anyway, I was kind of going through everything, and I had just written a blog post, 3 tips for achieving goals. And I even put out on my Instagram stories what your advice would be in terms of reaching goals or setting goals, or, you know, basically achieving what it is that you want. And in my blog post, I make it pretty clear that, you know, January 1st, while that seems like an ideal time to start something, it just doesn't matter. I think you should just start any time. But I'm talking about this now in January because I feel like it's such a hot topic. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone's talking about goal setting and making changes and setting intention, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing, right? I think setting intentions is what everyone is sort of calling it nowadays. But it is, you know, resolutions, goal setting. It's a great time to do it. And I'm sure there are some people who set goals January 1st and they do it and they're able to do it. And, you know, January 1st brings this sort of excitement for a lot of people. And, you know, I find myself in that camp. I really love the idea of kind of a clean slate. By the time December comes around, it's like I've been kind of looking back on the year and like, okay, did I do everything I wanted to do? Did I achieve everything I wanted to achieve? Did I hit goals that I wanted to hit? And, you know, it's exhausting. It's exhausting by the time December 31st rolls around. So when January 1st, when I turn that page, I love thinking about like, oh, wow, it's like a fresh new day. You know, I feel like I have the whole year ahead of me. I can create some new goals and think about, just kind of start to think about some different things. I get very in my head. And so I'm like, I get very tired of my own sort of thoughts. And so it's nice for me in January where I feel like I can, you know, kind of put those thoughts away and kind of start some new ones. However, I feel like when it comes to goals, those can just happen anytime. It doesn't have to happen on January 1st. And I mentioned this in my blog post. It doesn't have to happen, you know, January 1st. I know a lot of people, they set goals for their birthdays or on their birthdays, I should say, or they say, okay, after this weekend, I'm going to start on Monday, right? That's probably the most popular. I'm going to start on Monday. And I don't necessarily agree with that. You know, you just have to do it when the mood strikes you. And I think, you know, I think we all kind of realize that after a while. We've all been around the block a few times, and I think we've all probably set some goals, and some have stuck and some haven't. But I do want to share with you what some of your advice was on my Instagram stories, what you wrote in and mentioned, because a lot of it is similar. Like a lot of your answers were very, very similar, which I was really happy to see. I'm like, okay, there's like a formula here. We're like developing or creating a formula for achieving goals. And they were also very similar to the tips that I shared in my blog post. So I was like, okay, great. So one piece of advice that I kept seeing over and over and over again is write it down. And that's not something that I mentioned in my tips for achieving goals. Obviously, I'm very big on writing stuff down, but I don't personally write down my goals. And I wanted to share with you why I don't write down my goals. And the reason why I don't write down my goals is because I only set one goal at a time. If I set one goal at a time, I don't need a reminder of it. And the reason why I set one goal at a time is because I really think you can only make a major change in your life when you focus on that one thing. For me personally, I think a recipe for disaster is to say, I'm gonna quit smoking and start exercising this year. Just pick one. Start exercising or quit smoking, like one or the other. But I think doing both at the same time, like I said, is just a recipe for disaster. At least give yourself a couple months, you know, get comfortable with that one change, because most goals that we set for ourselves, most changes that we want to make are pretty major, you know, like quitting something or starting something. Either direction you're going in, it's a major change. So for me, I don't need to write that down. If I want to quit smoking, I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to have laser focus and just think about that one thing. And that was another bit of advice that you guys shared. I saw a lot of that also, just focus. And I don't think it's really realistic to think that you can focus on more than one thing at a time. So what I always have advised my friends, what I always tell myself, what I share with my husband, is you focus on that one thing. And I'm not saying go crazy in all other areas of your life, but give yourself a break in everything else. So I remember when I quit smoking a gazillion years ago, when I quit smoking, I didn't care about anything else. So I didn't eat that great. You know, I was eating pretty poorly. I'd try and work out, but it was not, again, it wasn't a priority. My priority was to just not smoke. So whatever it was that I needed to do to not smoke is what I did. And, you know, yes, there's a little bit of transfer in terms of like how I'm going to distract myself from smoking. Sometimes that was eating, sometimes that was shopping, sometimes that was playing video games, whatever it was. But I did quit smoking. And maybe, you know, the things, like I said, the things that I distracted myself with weren't so great either. There were a lot of cheeseburger deluxes that were consumed at that time, but I quit smoking, and that was what I wanted to do. And my next thing was to lose weight, and I was able to do that back then. It's one thing at a time. It's tackling one thing at a time. I am just a huge proponent of. And even if you're someone that thinks you can tackle a lot of stuff at once, great, good for you, but at least give yourself a couple weeks with the new change. So even if you're like, I'm gonna make it to work on time every single day, I'm gonna quit drinking during the week, I'm gonna, you know, whatever it is, just do one at a time, but like for a week or two, just let things settle. I feel very strongly about that. Just one thing at a time, and like one small step at a time. By the end of the year, you're gonna be like, wow, I did a lot of stuff. You know, I know people feel discouraged when they don't feel like they're actually getting anywhere, but just taking one thing at a time will get you further, I think, than tackling a bunch of things at once. So anyway, writing it down seemed to be a very popular piece of advice from you guys. Again, I'm not a big write it down person when it comes to a goal because, like I said, just one thing at a time. I really actually like this. Don't set goals, just do your best every day while moving forward. I thought that was really nice. Another really, God, you guys were really good. There's a ton of advice here, so thank you guys for actually responding to my Instagram stories. Another one I see a lot is persistence, staying focused, not giving up, things like that. That, for someone who's done a lot of quitting and made a lot of changes, for me, I have advice, like good time advice, and I have bad time advice. That's good time advice. When you're already feeling positive, you're feeling motivated, you're like, yes, I'm gonna do this. Yes, look at me, I'm being persistent or whatever. But you're gonna run into that point where it's a bad time. And for example, quitting smoking or cutting back on eating or cutting sugar out of your diet, whatever it is. Again, major changes here. When you are quitting smoking, and I'm talking about quitting smoking a lot because that's something I went through, again, a gazillion years ago, but it's something I went through. Do I still want a cigarette every day? Yes, I do. But when I quit smoking, when I really wanted a cigarette, when I would have given my left arm for a cigarette, the last thing I needed to hear was, stay persistent, keep going, you got this. I would have punched that person in the face, right? That's not what you want to hear when you literally would give a limb for whatever it is that you want, for that ice cream sundae, for that cigarette, for that glass of wine. I mean, whatever it is that you're trying to get away from, that doesn't help. So for me, that's like good time advice. It's not bad. I'm talking here. So for me, that's good time advice, but it's not bad time advice. Bad time advice, the only bad time advice that I have to give for you guys is it will pass. Whatever feeling you're going through, whatever craving you're having, how derailed you feel, that feeling is going to pass. And you just need to sit with it, not act on it, sit with it for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, a minute. Sometimes I would have a craving for a cigarette that would last like half a day. I would be grumpy, I would be angry, but I would just sit there and just sit with that feeling, and it will pass. It will eventually pass. And that's the only advice I can give for the bad times. Because there's nothing else. There's nothing anyone can say. There's no encouraging words. There's nothing, because you're like 1000% emotion. You're so frustrated. You're so angry. You're craving something. In that moment, there's nothing more important to you. And to hear those like, rah, like words would probably make it worse. I know that would make it worse for me. Maybe I'm an angry person. I'm realizing that that's a second piece of advice that you guys gave that I'm like, well, I wouldn't necessarily do that. Sorry, I don't mean to be like contradictory here. I think your responses are incredible, and I do think that they would probably help a lot of people. I'm just sharing my experience. So let me move to another very popular response that I would definitely put into practice. Let's see. You know, this one is a very simple one, but this is also another one that I have seen quite a bit. So keep marching forward. And then someone said, take one step toward it. And that was actually something that I wrote in my blog post, where it's really just one small step at a time. And you know, if you're setting goals, and the examples that I put in my post was like, if you want to save some money and you just set it real low, something that you're not even going to notice, like I'm going to save $1 every day, just $1 every week, whatever it is. If that becomes or starts to become too daunting, then make it 50 cents, but do something. Even if that step forward seems really, really small, at least it's a step forward. So I totally believe in that. I think we set really lofty goals for ourselves, but I think it's, you know, a mixture of being realistic and also challenging yourself to improve and to move forward. So I definitely agree with that. Just one small step forward is a step forward, and I think that's really important. And something I really believe in, and something, you know, I wrote about in the blog post, and something I've seen because I follow a lot of YouTubers. A lot of them are younger, so I've got, you know, a bit more experience under my belt. And, you know, sometimes I have conversations with them and they just doubt themselves. They doubt themselves. They don't really have the confidence. They've asked me, you know, well, how do you become confident? How do you get to that point? And my only response to that is that you have to set goals and you have to achieve them. Once you achieve a goal that you've set, you're like, oh, I did that. That was me. And you start to realize the power that you have. And there's nothing more powerful than that, is to build your self-confidence. And we're not talking, there's a big difference between confidence and cockiness. But confidence is a true believing in yourself. And I think you can only really achieve that by doing things, by achieving things, by setting goals, by reaching those goals, whatever it is. You become confident, and then you can dream bigger that way. But I think it's really hard. If you don't have the confidence in yourself, it becomes very difficult to even understand what it is that you want, to even understand what dreams it is that you want to have. And I think you really need to build up that confidence. So I feel like it's important to achieve smaller, unattainable goals instead of the really big ones. Of course, those are, I mean, you know, if you can set a really high goal and achieve it, wow, right? That's fantastic. But I think for the mere mortals here, I think setting small goals, achieving them, setting one a little bit bigger, achieving that, and just kind of progressing. I mean, not only you're going to feel great about yourself, but I think you're going to be able to achieve a lot more. Eventually, you're going to be able to achieve a lot more than you ever thought. I think that is actually the most important thing in terms of setting goals and achieving goals is really, yes, the actual goal that you're setting is important, but I think the process and what comes out of that process is the most important, and that is believing in yourself. Another big one is, I'm just seeing now, is basically like tell someone about it and why it's important. I feel like that's kind of like an accountability partner, or just a confidant, or a good friend of yours, or maybe someone that is a peer in regards to like work or whatever. I do think that's really important. So I feel like I'm being very contrarian again. I do not mean to, because I do know this works for a lot of people. Having a partner in crime, having an accountability partner, talking to someone about it, I think helps most people tremendously. Personally, I think it's because I'm just a very private person. When I set goals, I don't really talk to anyone about them. It's like my own private little task. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if maybe it's like a deeply rooted, insecure thing. Like, okay, if I don't ever reach that goal, it's out there now, I'm gonna feel like a fool. I don't know. I don't know if maybe that's it. Maybe contrary to this vlog and most of my vlogs and videos and stuff, I'm not a big talker. I don't work things out by talking. I do a lot of it in my head, and usually what comes out of my mouth is sort of the conclusion or the decision I've come to or whatever. I'm not really like a process talker. So for me personally, that doesn't really work. That's not something that I would do. But I do think a lot of people love talking. A lot of people love talking stuff through. A lot of people love having company, or maybe someone who's in it with them that makes them feel better. I think that would actually be very helpful for a lot of people. So maybe find yourself an accountability partner. Don't overwhelm yourself with too many goals, right? Small steps. Be realistic, write it down. Yeah, a lot of these are, I guess, tried and true, tested, goal achieving pieces of advice here. Perseverance. Oh, this is a good one. don't compare yourself. You do you. So I guess, I mean, I don't really compare myself. I kind of live, if you you can't tell already, I'm a lot up here. So like I live in my own little bubble. But I guess, yeah, I guess if you're comparing yourself and you're setting goals based on those comparisons, that's very, and I use this word sparingly, but that is very, very toxic. That's really not gonna get you to where you wanna go. All you're doing is reacting to someone else's life. Yeah, that would be terrible. Yeah, definitely don't set any goals based on what you see or or like what your best friend is doing. That, no, absolutely not. Well, this is some tough love. I don't know if this is, well, I guess this is advice. Nothing comes easy. You have to work hard at it. Absolutely. Well, I hope this talk helped, and let me know down below in the comment section if you like chit chats like this. I do have a lot of anecdotes to share with you guys. I feel like I've lived a pretty full life, and yeah, if you like this sort of thing, let me know down below in the comment section. Something that I mentioned in my video where I talked about how I was going to be kind of changing up my videos and delivering the same type of content but in different formats, between vlogging and shorts and stuff like that. But I did mention that, I really had to stay true to my why, and why I do YouTube and why I'm on social media. And for me, that's shifted a little bit since I've been on it. But I would say for the last 3 years, it is to inspire. And I know that that's a very common why, that's a very general why, it's not a very specific why, but it really is to inspire. So when I think of inspiring and inspiration from someone, I need to know a little bit about them. And I have been sharing more about myself and my life on my vlog, but that's present day. You guys don't really know my experiences and what I've been through. I touch upon them every once in a while, like quitting smoking. So with that why in mind, I want to share more of my life and my experiences and what I've learned and pass them on to you guys. So if that is of interest to you, let me know down below in the comment section and we'll do more of this. But that's it in terms of achieving goals and just sort of addressing this very popular topic that comes around every January. And again, I did write a blog post on it. It's very short if you want to read it. It's just like 3 or 4 paragraphs. So I'm going to finish kind of getting ready for my day. I'm going to go through all of my notebooks, all of them, and yeah, I'll be back in a bit. So I was busy working away and I started to smell something quite delicious brewing in the kitchen. My husband is making his sancocho. I have shown this on my channel before, but good things are happening in the kitchen right now. Ooh, those are some ham hocks. This is definitely the smoked ham hocks that I am smelling. So good. So good. Doesn't the sancocho smell good? The stew is ready. Oh my God, I'm so hungry.
Oh, hi, Butters. I'm sorry, baby. We're gonna eat. We're gonna eat now. It's not Bali playtime. So.
It's perfect.